welcome back to the Plus Ultra Fitness Podcast, Season 2.5. I know what you're thinking. Season 2.5? Didn't Season 2 just end? Absolutely, it just did. But the way that the Spotify and iTunes algorithm works is they'll stop showing my podcast to people if I don't put out episodes every so once in a while. So while we're taking a little bit of a break between Season 2 and Season 3 here, we have some extra special guests coming on. And the first of our extra special guests we have coming on is Mark Norman, the owner of JustSaiyan. So welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Hey, bro. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. It is my pleasure. We're all super pumped to hear about you, hear your story, and hear a little bit about the story of how JustSaiyan got started. Ever since I started the podcast, I've had people asking me, have on the owner of JustSaiyan, have on the owner of JustSaiyan. We want to hear how it started. I'm glad that we finally were able to link this up and get you on here. So why don't you just start by telling the audience a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah, well, I'm Mark. I am the owner of JustSaiyan Gear. I created it back in 2013, all because I wanted to train inspired, and nothing out there in the world inspired me to train harder than I already was. Like everybody out there, I was doing a 9-to-5 job. It was actually 7 to 6. I was very busy as a consultant. I was an associate business architect. I used to go and create companies and products for large multinational companies, And yeah, I was getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, going to the gym when it was raining, riding my motorbike, and trying to upgrade my pivot in fitness from bodybuilding into like power building into calisthenics. And that was a wellness journey that I had at the time. So that's why I was getting less and less out of additional weights and then just working on my body weight and doing handstand push-ups against the wall when it's freezing cold, like 3 or 4 degrees outside, is really tough if you don't have the right why, you know? And I got out of a contract with Telecom New Zealand, which is like, I don't know, AT&T in America or Telstra in Australia. It's the largest telco company. And it was really hard. It was a large amalgamation, and my role was, it was the first time I'd been put in a position that I had to be to execute our project, right? And I just needed a break. And I was sick of being a suit and I really needed a break. So I took 3 months off work and I went back to watching anime because that made me happy. And I went back not to Dragon Ball Z, but I went back to Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball's got a really big soft spot on my heart because Dragon Ball is more about the story, right? And the relationships with people, less about power numbers. That's where like Dragon Ball Z really comes along, you know, and the forms really start coming through. But you really see growth and development with Goku. But what I loved about him and why I gravitated to watching that out of all things was his joyousness with doing any sort of task. You know, no matter how difficult it was, he was always happy to do it. You know, there was always Krillin who was like, oh man, you know. But yeah, Goku was always, no matter what Roshi threw at him or any sort of like fight with Tambourine or whatever, he was always happy about it, and he always had good intentions and a good willing heart, and I resonate a lot with that. And it really brought me back to life, so to speak. And it re-motivated me like mentally and emotionally. And then the physically came afterwards, because once I was happy there in that mental space, I started training out harder again. And I started seeing improvements all over again. So I don't know, in the rough and short of it, that's kind of it.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Like, thank you for sharing so much. And I guess we all know now why there's no Krillin gear on the JustSaiyan roster.
Yeah. He's not inspiring enough, eh?
Yeah. I was gonna say, we'll forget the fact that his gear looks exactly like Goku's and it would just be a repeat gear. No, it's because he's not inspiring enough. But so that's kind
sorry,
of
all the Krillin fans.
Yeah, sorry, all the grilling.
Sorry.
That's okay. They can cry about it while they watch scenes of him getting exploded by Frieza over and over again.
Yeah.
So well, we kind of went into the story of how you started Just Saiyan Gear there, and we'll dive back into some Just Saiyan Gear stuff a little bit later on. But what's your origin story with fitness? Like, how did you originally first get back into fitness? However many, I guess, how many years ago was it? Like, what's your
I'm
story?
I'm not going to reveal how old I am. No one would believe this.
23.
I'm 65, but I look 25. Yeah. Well, my fitness journey is as a kid. I was I was high up in soccer, which you would call football, I think, over there. And I did that for years so I made it into the under 18 reps for Hutt Valley, and I was a centre striker, so I was the person who thought he got all the goals, but actually it was midfield that got all the goals. I just had the ego there to run the spot. I'd just break through, and then pass it back. Midfield always did some really good points, got some really good goals. But I was also into swimming, so I'd do swimming as well and soccer, but it was nothing weighted, it was all activity based. And then I went to college and I kind of fell out with everything about fifth form. So when I was like 15, I kind of got into cars instead, and kind of let fitness go out the window. And that was cool, like, learning something new, learning how to take care of my own car after I saved up for it and doing it up, and, welding like dump pipes onto the wastegate so I could have external noises hooning down the road, all the larrikin stuff that you do as a kid. And when I was 18, I had a huge back injury at work, and it took me out for about 6 months. 3 of those months I was in bed, and I was on all kinds of painkillers. They ended up prescribing me Tramadol, a really strong dose. It was like 200 milligrams of Tramadol. So my back injury was 2 like compressed discs, and then a prolapse disc at L5 and 0. So it was significant, like, sciatic pain down my body. And yeah, the drugs were a temporary fix for something that had deeper roots, which I know about now. I didn't know about it at the time. But the prescription stuff didn't last long, because as soon as I took it, I felt not like me. And whenever I don't feel like me, I don't like it. So I didn't like myself. And coming out of that, I'll probably elaborate on the story first. I got to a point with 2 orthopedic surgeons where they wanted to send me over to America for this new disc replacement kind of OR, so surgery. And they were testing it, do you want to be a test dummy, Mark? Yes or no? And I asked them, what happens? Is this going to make me better? And the surgeon said, well, one of 3 things can happen, Mark. It can make it better, it can stay the same, or it can make it worse. And I said, there are 2 bad odds. Yeah, they're pretty bad odds, you might as well say like 10% chance of the success. So I chose not to go through with it, and I went into rehab. And cutting through the rehab, 2 years later, I was deadlifting 220 kgs easily from the floor, conventional, not sumo. And I did that through always wanting to excel and loving the journey. So just like I was talking about with Goku before, always being excited about it. Yeah, it was painful at times, but I always knew that the outcome far outweighed the task that I had to do, So I always found enjoyment in, if I was just doing like glute bridges or something. Rehab exercises are not the most flattering, bro. But over time they do work, And that's when I got into bodybuilding. So I got into a state of, I don't know, just general fitness. I had like, I don't know, a 4-pack of abs. I was always active every day. I was boundless with my energy. And then I had a personal trainer come over and tap me on the shoulder while I was training. He was like, you should do a bodybuilding competition. I'm like, okay, what's bodybuilding? And he's like, you should watch this. And it was like, the Arnold's video. So I watched that, and I really loved Frank Zane. That's what I learned about Frank Zane. And I was like, I would really like to look like that. So I went after trying to train and look like that, because I thought it was in a, like, all young boys, you know, when we look at our superheroes, are all ripped, shredded, you know, majority of the time, and they're powerful, because we seek that within our own life, you know. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna accept this. And that's when I got into bodybuilding. So that's just the start of it. That's with my like early 20s.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then what transitioned you into power building after that, and then eventually into calisthenics after that?
Yeah, so I did bodybuilding for like hardcore for like 4.5, 5 years. And I competed for 3 of those years. I came third in New Zealand in 70 to 80 kg. So the weight class, I don't know what that is in pounds, but that's what it is in kgs. Do the Google converter. And when I placed third, afterwards, that's when I kind of saw like the side of bodybuilding that I didn't resonate with. And it was just people saying that you could do so much better if you did such and such and such and such, and if you trained with us, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't really want to do that, because I've always wanted longevity in my life, especially since I had such a huge injury to my back. And longevity is something that I've been seeking for a long time, since the back injury. So over like 14 years now. And because longevity to me means like boundless energy as a child. You know, a kid doesn't warm up to do a handstand. They don't warm up to play on the monkey bars. They don't warm up to do a squat. You know what I mean? They just do it. And that's what I want to regain, longevity like that, being able to have boundless energy, dynamic cell energy, and be mobile and fluid in all ways without restriction. And my lifestyle created the restriction. Now I'm undoing it. But yeah, so the bodybuilding after that, I was like, well, I still like to compete. I really enjoy competition. You know, I don't like losing. I don't think anyone does. My intent's always to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like for yourself as well, like I'm sure that whenever you play like any sport or even a computer game or something, you want to win. Like if you're playing Pokemon, you want your Pokemon at level 100, and you want to have the best moves. You know, you want to have the best squad on your team. So you always win. And so yeah, I got into doing powerlifting, and trying to retain as much like bodybuilding as possible. That's where I learned about power building. I got really like fit with that kind of training, because it's a lot of intensity over low reps, you know, but you can do like high volume over your sets. And I enjoyed that, but I started to feel that my my lower back was being compromised again, just from the load. Like, you know, when you're doing I used to do crazy stuff, bro. Like, honestly, my squats, I would do on a Monday when everyone was doing chest, I would do 140 kgs for 15 to 20 reps, 3 sets just for fun. But it's like, I don't even know what that is in pounds, but it's 3 plates each side. So,
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed that Tom Platz kind of strength, especially for legs. And I think that's why I overdeveloped my legs more than anything. I thought that working on my legs would change the whole frame, and it wasn't true for me, you know. I just grew a lot in my legs. And once I started feeling that deterioration, I kind of went back to gymnastics. And, you know, as a kid in New Zealand, we just had gymnastics at like the local YMCA kind of thing. You just get into it, you know. And I really enjoyed that. So I started doing gymnastics again, working on rings. And then I kind of just stopped lifting weights and doing body weight stuff. Yeah. Obviously, you lose a lot of size when you go into skill-based training, because it's skills, and you can feel a lot like you feel tighter because of like the CNS strain. Like doing a handstand when you first start, and you can be like sweating buckets and like absolutely tired, but all you're trying to do is do a handstand, you know, you're not actually ripping anything out.
It's crazy how those like different stimuluses can really like mess you up when you like switch from like style of training to style of training, and keeps challenging
Yeah.
you in new ways, which is awesome. And I
Yeah.
definitely like encourage people to go along those route and continue challenging themselves in new ways, whatever that might be. And I definitely relate with you on like the powerlifter side of thing. That's what I do right now, is competitive powerlifting. And I always tell people, I'm like, it's very different than like general health. Like, can you be healthy and be a powerlifter? Yes, but the further you take your competitive level, the more you start to compromise your health. And if your goal is longevity, you definitely sacrifice that for the competitive side of really any sport, whether it be, you know,
Yeah.
football,
Anything in
soccer,
life.
yeah, basketball, powerlifting, bodybuilding, like anything in life. Like the further you push into something, the more you sacrifice that longevity and that kind of overall health. You only have so much of the pie, and the more you take of your pie for one thing, the less pie is left over for other things. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you talked a little bit about the why and the motivation behind starting JustSaiyan Gear. What did that process look like when you first started up the company, and like, what's the origin story of this brand we all know and love?
Yeah. So I finished watching an episode and I'm like, man, because you know how Under Armour has the like this Spider-Man, Batman kind of ultra ego kind of like gear.
Yeah.
I was like, there has to be Google. I just went on to Google because I wanted to buy one. I didn't want to make one. I didn't want to do any of this stuff. All I wanted to do was go in there, buy one, and then wear it to the gym and have fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I just Googled it, and the only thing in the entire world was the logo, the green or the orange T-shirt with the kanji on the chest, and that was it. And I'm like, that doesn't make me feel like a superhero. It doesn't make me feel badass. I'm like, where is one of these tops with muscles or something? Like, give me something that's anime. And do you know what, bro? I looked and looked and looked, and there was nothing for anime at all. It's like the Japanese squad got completely forgotten, you know? God.
I like totally relate to that too, because like I saw all of those like superhero t-shirts, like the Under Armour t-shirts growing up, because I played American football, and that was like one of my favorite things to wear underneath my football pads was like my Superman Under Armour shirt or my Spider-Man Under Armour shirt, because it made me feel like a superhero. But you're right, until I saw the emergence of JustSaiyan, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, which would have been a couple of years after you would have started up, even 4 or 5 years ago. But when I first saw it, I was like, no way. Like, it's crazy that there's like compression gear and there's like all this amazing gear for like Japanese anime. That's so cool. So for you, what has been the coolest part of the brand's growth through like all of these years since 2013 when you started?
I would say there's it's multifaceted, right? I think there's lots of different things. A, the company's still been around. B, it being able to inspire other people, and C, people who are inspired taking action and really working on their wellness. Because that at the end of the day is key for everyone's like experience, right? And happiness here. The healthier you are, the more enjoyment you can have in the world. Because, you know, being stuck in a bed, not being able to do stuff is not enjoyable. It's not a fruitful life, you know. And also I'd say D, the opportunities I've been able to give people as well. I'm a real big, so I'll start with D first. I'm a really big person that when I create companies and I hire staff, I offer freedom. And not freedom as in like, oh, this is you're like financially free now, I've given you 4 houses or something. But but freedom in the opportunity for them to create the role that they desire in a company that is thriving. And we've had staff come and go, and we've had staff really step up and grow into amazing roles that never existed, that they've taken control of and have been established as like their main role now as a manager for that. And I've been able to see this family, this close-knit family, really flourish with their own life, because some people have been with us since 2013. You know, our head designer has been with us since 2013, and his life has taken many different changes. And now he's a man, and he's got his own like property. You know, he's got his own responsibilities, and seeing not only myself, like I've had to grow through it, right? But whenever I'm in work mode, it's always, what can I give these people for them to be successful? And that for me is a huge personal accomplishment, that we've been able to take not only a handful, but many handfuls of people and really uplift them on their own life journey, you know? I think that's such a powerful thing for me personally. From the brand, well, a brand perspective, we've grown as a brand because of their work, you know? And I think that...
Go ahead, sorry.
I think that is like, any company wants to grow, but the thing is that our why for why we exist is always about helping you unleash your ultimate form. And unleashing your ultimate form is obviously, first and foremost, we want to get you in your physical goals or desires, whatever it is, whether it's ballet dancing or whether it's powerlifting. We want to help you wear and train through your inspiration. I want to have you wearing your inspiration so that you can push yourself just a little bit more. And I know through personal experience that when I got my first Goku and Vegeta top that we made, I went and I had an amazing workout. I couldn't believe it. And that top looks nothing like the Goku gear that we sell today. It feels nothing like it. It looks nothing like it. But it still gave me that same effect, you know, and that effect of being motivated through the character, through the memory of how we interpret the characters, is powerful beyond measure. It truly is, dude. No, it really is, man.
It is, and it shows in the company and the community it's built. You know, those same values that you instilled into the company when you first started, of wanting to inspire people to be their best through something that they love with anime. And, you know, that's ultimately why I started this podcast too, is to take anime and things that people love and inspire people to become better versions of themselves. And when, you know, that's the motto of Just Saiyan, and that's why I thought it'd be so cool to have you on, is you've taken that motto of making people better through that passion of anime, translating it over to making their lives better through fitness, and gave them that inspiration that they needed. And the community has just grown and got so powerful. And we're going to dive into that a little bit. But the next thing I wanted to go into is, as the brand has grown and expanded, what's been one of the most difficult parts of that growth for you?
Mate, I've lived so many difficult journeys with Just Saying. It's crazy. Mate, yeah, I've had a bill come to me for nearly $500,000 on a Saturday morning, when I didn't have $500,000 at all. It really shocked me. However, I grew through that. I built an amazing team, and we ended up winning that battle, which is great. You know, from financial battles, there's always something going on there, you know, especially with people that we work with, because their performance is financial based and our performance is happiness based. It's two different models, and it's very hard to get coherency there, so everyone agree on what success looks like from a key performance indicator. I would say, look, not even just financially, but production-wise, 2019 was quite tough. But what we did is we doubled down on our values and our business model. We doubled down on it, and we ended up turning around a huge upside-down frown into a big smile, just by focusing on what we do best. And I remember having a meeting with the team and saying, look, we need to design so much gear, we need to drop 2 years worth of gear in 1 year. Why is that? Because we need to show people that, hey, we're still here, we're still thriving, we're able to deliver successfully through the customers, like the clients, like, are they able to even receive the gear? And then B, are we able to inspire them with new characters? How are we able to work with partners around the world to bring out new series and new characters that customers are now wanting to adapt into their fitness daily routine. And I remember 2019 was a huge year of fitness. People were buying fitness equipment left, right, and center because they couldn't go to the gym. They weren't allowed to go to the gym in some places. They weren't even allowed to go down to the beach. So being able to bring happiness in some way, shape, or form was something that I really wanted to do. And we smashed it out of the park, you know. We're really blessed to have really blessed to have all the work that I thought was like a pain in the butt, you know. With your passion, kids, whenever you do your passion, is always going to be monotonous tasks that you have to do. But as long as it's tied to your passion, you know that you're tied to it and you've got the infinite energy to execute, you know. Doesn't mean that it's not an easy way of doing it. But all these tasks that I've done throughout the years from like 2015, purchasing new buildings, new tools, new sublimation printers, oh man, you name it, like all this work that I thought was just I could have been doing something better with my life. You know, when you look at it, you're like, this is so difficult. Why am I even doing this? And especially when I'm rewarding everybody more than rewarding me. Like there was a time where I wasn't earning much at all, basically nothing. I was just funding the business and all the staff. And because I put myself in a position that I could do that to help them, you know. Because if I pay them, then we get our gear. If we have no staff, then there's no gear, you know. So yeah, you know, like from financial stuff through to production stuff through to even internal discussions and understanding about what we expect from a design, so what the squad's wanting. So as you guys know, we have a huge pipeline of work. We have so many characters from different series in our pipeline of work that are still to be done, and we juggle these based off customer demand, because it really is a customer driven business model. We only like to make what you guys actually want. And you can see this case in point with recently Jeremy creating a group to get Beerus of all characters to be made. And he messaged me and he goes, Mark, you know, what's it going to take? And I said, look, if you get 50 people to pre-order, I'll do it. because it'll be worth my designer's time. You know what I mean? It'll be worth the design team's time, because it's not just me going, I'm not like, I'm not a boss that will come in and be like, you have to do this or you're fired. That they still have to have their time respected as well. Mm-hmm. And they have to want to have the excitement to do it, or else the design itself is not going to be exciting either. You'll see that come through in the design, and we won't release it because there's no power in the design. You know, if you see some of the stuff that we've done in the past, like in draft, and we're like, no, we need to double down on the shading on this, we need to make it more aggressive. No one's going to want this or want to work out in this. Like, bro, would you want to deadlift 440 pounds wearing a character looking like that? You might as well be dressed up like Pikachu, you know. So
you say that, but people do that.
Yeah. Hey, look, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Pikachu. I had Pokemon Yellow, the Pokemon Yellow Game Boy, and even when my Pikachu was at level 100, honestly, like he still had nothing on any of my other evolved Pokemon. He had nothing on. So
people are gonna clap back now. They're like, we love Pikachu, and you're just gonna get all messages like,
I'll make muscular Pokemon gear for you. There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Charizard.
Next week we're gonna get a drop of muscular Charizard and muscular Pikachu.
Hey, that might be a thing, dude. If we did it really well, it could take off.
Absolutely. Yeah. If there's any brand that could do it.
Yeah. Hey, look, I had so many people tell me that what I was doing was stupid. Now, remember, I was a consultant. So I was working with IBM consultants, Ernst & Young consultants, PricewaterhouseCoopers consultants, Deloitte, Cape Gemini. I used to do consulting for the owners of the company, or the boards of directors, or the C-level executives. Whoever had the purse string that gave us the right amount of mandate for us to come in and do some sort of transformation, that's who we did the work for. And all of my friends were middle-aged, like good guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I'll be middle-aged soon, you know, and you'll be middle-aged too, dude.
It's coming. It's
like
coming.
Yeah, they're all good guys, but they'd fallen into security, and like I remember when I gave my team the speech of me leaving, they all thought I was joking, because I am me now was me then. Does that make sense? Like how I'm talking now was me then.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean you've created a Dragon Ball Z kind of like inspired anime clothing brand and you're leaving? Like, it's Friday night drinks, mate. Like, are you joking or what? And I'm like, no, I'm not coming to work on Monday. I'm not working anymore. You're gonna have to go under this guy Julian instead. And they're like, what? I'm like, serious. And it's because I had 2 dream jobs, right? I had 2 dream jobs and I had 0 time. I had 0 time left in my day. I would wake up, like I said, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I wouldn't stop working until 11 o'clock at night every single day. And I did that for two and a half, 3 years before I actually quit my consulting job as an associate. So we had we had skin in the game. And that's when I quit, when I was, at the height of my career, so to speak, for something that had so much risk, but I had so much passion. And I told them that I have 2 dream jobs and I have no time. And I'm just backing something that I've created 100% myself. It's my own utopia now, rather than working in someone else's utopia. So that's what I did. Yeah.
And I think we can all say that we're thankful that you did, because you have built one of the craziest communities I've personally ever seen in a clothing brand. I've never seen a clothing brand build a community as absolutely crazy, tight, and supportive and amazing as JustSaiyan. Like, you dive into the community of JustSaiyan and people just want to support you, and it's a little bit overwhelming at first. Like when I first bought JustSaiyan gear and I posted some stuff, and like people started coming out of the woodworks and like tagging me in like squad checks, and tagging me in their photos. I'm like, what is going on? Like I just put on a Goku.
How did I get included?
Yeah, I'm like, I just put on a Goku Ultra Instinct shirt, and now I feel like I'm a part of something. But like I definitely didn't get it as first, but I've come to like understand that this community is just full of people that follow that company vision of just wanting to support each other. Did you expect the brand's community to grow as strong as it did when you first started the company? And what did you do to cultivate that community growing so strong as the brand was growing and like, like just gaining its traction? Like, you had to do something for it to get like this.
I was about it, if that makes sense. I wasn't just talking to talk. I was about it. Like, that life is my life. You want to talk anime? Let's talk. You know what I mean? I love talking about the esoteric parts of all animes now, because it's all blended into things. Every single one, whether it's My Hero Academia or Dragon Ball Z or even Yu-Gi-Oh, it's all blended in there. And I love that now. But when I started, it was all about you really not building a community, bro. It was about enabling people, because everybody's just like me. And that's who my customers were. My customers were people just like me, who wanted to train inspired and loved the anime with that fitness fusion, and fit nerd wasn't even a thing when we started. And I remember back in 2015, San Diego Comic-Con, I think it changed from being largely cosplay based to fitness people coming along to it and really being proud about their upbringing, because we all had the TV. We all ran home, bro, at like 3 o'clock after school to watch the latest episode of Goku powering up his spirit bomb to take down Frieza. Like we all have those memories, whether it's Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, you name it. We all have like that urge to get home. And not to escape, but to be inspired. That's the difference with anime to me. It was never an escapism thing for me. It was an inspiration. And I'd go out into the garage and I'd do chin-ups on like the beam going across, and I'd try and do my push-ups and stuff. I always imagined that I could be more. I resonated a lot with Gohan back in the day, especially when he turned into like, teen Gohan, and he turned into adult Gohan. I resonated a lot with him. But yeah, to cultivate the community, it wasn't, I think the people were the seeds and I was the soil. That's the best way to describe it, because I was always there. Even when I was working in town, I was dressed up in my suit, I was always active on my phone. If someone had any sort of questions, any problems with anything, I would always be there. And I'm always removed from like the emotions of things, in terms of like, if something's gone wrong and I'm working with someone about like their order or something, I'm kind of removed back. So I'm not like emotional about it. I'm just like, well, how can we make this person happy? And this is where that 200% return policy came from for us, which is, I remember I'd bought something and it was wrong, and the person asked me to send it back, and then they would send out the new one. And I started getting, obviously, size, people wanting to change sizes on stuff. As an online company, it's the nature of the beast, you know? And I was like, well, actually, there's so much admin work on my end that it would cost me the profit of the shirt just to pay someone to manage that, right? Just in one return. And then there's also the pain on the other side, the customer pain on the other side of having to send something. So that's where 200% came from. No, we stuffed up on the sizing, or no, we stuffed up on like a packaging error or something like that. You keep that, and we're going to send you another one. You know what I mean? So always giving customer love, and we've tried to maintain it as best as possible as we've grown. We have been trialing out for American customers only returns policy for sizes, and that's going all right. Like, some people like to return things, but myself, dude, I'm so lazy. I won't go down to the post office to ship something back. You know, like, if you've done the error, just do me good, and that's how I treat people. Yeah. But yeah, awesome. I was always there. And I always want people to be their best selves. And I've been on, like, just saying, I've seen couples come together, get married just from Just Saying. I've seen people get themselves out of, they've got chronic diabetes, and now they're working on their wellness. They no longer look the same, and it all stems from this community of full support, and everybody's equal. Like, we're all anime fans here, and we all understand that everyone has different quirks, and that we all have different strengths, right? And we're all here to not forget our weaknesses, but to embrace them and then improve and get stronger. Nothing, if you obfuscate something that you don't like, you never get to confront it. So being able to work with a really good tight knit of people, and there's lots of little clips in Just Saying. There's lots of little clips, where people are always helping each other in this group of 15, or there's 100 people over here and they're supporting themselves on like a monthly challenge or something. There's so much going on. It's amazing to see how it's developed. Like, truly, it's like real humbling to see, just from me being like wanting a shirt to this.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And, it's a bunch of people supporting each other in the joint mission to just day by day become a better version of yourself and be inspired by your favorite anime and your favorite anime characters while doing so. Now, with the brand growing so rapidly, is there any plans for expansion in the future? Like, a big thing people ask, feel free not to answer if you don't want to, but a big thing people ask is like, will there ever be a warehouse where you guys keep stock to shorten down the wait time and like the creation time? Is that anything that you would work towards in the future, or are you very content and happy with kind of the process that you have now, and why?
Yeah, so I had 2018, I had a really good plan to move all my equipment, a lot of equipment, over to a place within America, down in South Texas. I was planning on it. I still have a plan there to do that. However, what that was going to do was going to encourage cheaper shipping rates, not necessarily speed up the time. However, the time is something that I'm always working on. We do have a huge ERP system that we deployed back in 2020, and 2020 we deployed it, and it went tits up. It didn't work out very good. That cost me a lot. Yeah. Uh, that was a learning lesson. So we thought we worked with our consulting team. Software enables you and it can cripple you, right? This ERP tool was meant to take about 2 weeks out of our manufacturing timeframe. It was going to remove a lot of labor and so manual data entry labor. And it was going to have us just focus on manufacturing rather than managing, right, the product through the process. So it's a lot of automation, and I had a lot of pain points solved. And when we did the big bang, it actually cost us about 3 weeks with the production time, because it took us a week to figure out that it didn't work. And then it took us about two weeks to do the manual stuff on top to get back to our old process to have a fallback, you know. And that was just like, that was a lesson from me. It didn't work. And I'm pretty sure we went out to every single one of those customers, and I think we refunded all the shipping and gave them a discount code as well when it happened, because we're upfront about things, you know. With what's been going on in the world, so when we make our products, right, we've got many elements to making a t-shirt. So let's start with our fabric. This fabric here is something that I actually created. This is our own blend, right? This is our own blend of polyester and elastane, right, with its own specific grams per square meter, its own weave, and it's actually created out of products that are certified, right? And they have no fillers in them. Like, a lot of companies don't know, a lot of people don't know about companies, especially with sublimated products, that there's a lot of toxins that get used in them. And I don't like having anything toxic on my body at all. That's why I got out of bodybuilding. I didn't like the toxicity with the competitive side of things. And so we get everything blended over in Italy. They have the best fabric weaving technology in the world, right? Everyone's different. Like, just like Nike took over the game with Japan with nylon uppers, right? Different countries have got different strengths with their main method of GDP, you know, like they have really good technology, and Italy is like the top in the world for weaving things in terms of how fine you can get stuff. So we work really hard on all our fabrics. Some of them we missed the ball, bro, so hard, and then some of them we smashed them out of the park. But it's in constant development. So one thing we've got at the moment is we've got a longer lead time on our raw materials. And then we've got in our manufacturing, so I've got a 4-story manufacturing building, and we've got levels, right, of different processes for manufacturing a product, through to the design being printed, through to the sublimation, through to sewing, etc., and then packaging and out the building. We've been impacted as well with everything that's going on in the world, and we've still fought really hard to maintain even a 5-week, so five-week manufacturing turnaround time frame. And we've been good. This year we've had like 2 times that we've gone over, but it's because we sold a lot. Like, we had so much volume, we just couldn't handle it, and there's not the staff that we just didn't have enough. Yeah, so that was a good thing, but a bad thing. So my goal is to always have to work towards 2 weeks. 2 weeks is my goal. Why 2 weeks? It's because it's the fastest we've ever been able to do it in our tests for a bulk order of around 1,000 to 2,000 pieces in a week is 2 weeks, and to have it successfully sewn on the other end and up to our quality control standards. Why I still like that is that we're still able to focus on releasing quality gear while working with distributors around the world. We've had many distributors in the past over in France. We've had them in Spain. We've had them in Sweden. We've had them in Mexico. We did a test run in the States. We've had many wholesalers, but because of our model and our own costs that we have, they're not like, you don't get a t-shirt and you don't make 150% return on investment. You're lucky to get 50 or 55 because of the way we run the company, because it's all customer focused at the end of the day. It's not like we're buying 20,000 Goku shirts and then sticking them into storage for 6 months and being able to sell them for, I don't know, dude, bottom dollar, 75% off or something just to move them.
Yeah.
It's just a different model. And it comes back to how we want to be customer driven rather than push. I know that if we change to being a push company, we would be able to have stock. We would be able to ship out things a lot quicker, but would have that overhead and it would restrict our designing. So like you take from one area and you lose from another, So yeah, I want to get to 2 weeks. That is my goal within the next 6 months, is to figure out our software system. It's all QR code based, and really stand it up successfully so that we're able to actually have an overachievement with our timeframes to customers, instead of it being like them waiting 4 weeks and it's showing up in 2.5 weeks instead.
Yeah. Well, that would be very cool. I'm sure there'd be a lot of excited customers about that. And I think that was really.
Hold on, I'll just touch on it for a second, because Just Saying, how many products do you think we have at Just Saying? Like in our SKU, how many do you think we have?
Oh man, my guess is 200. It's a lot. It's so many.
We're nearly at 3,000. We're nearly at 3,000 products.
Different products?
And Just Saying. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That have come.
Wow.
Yep. So I'd take away like 10 to 15% of that, maybe max, would be disabled now, but our SKUs are nearly at 3,000 and are all individual products. Yeah.
Crazy.
So we have a lot of options, and this compounds more on our website, customer UI. Like, how do people navigate and find out all the stuff? And we actually had a meeting on this in our WhatsApp group on Monday about how I still want to, like me personally, I want to have a character selection shopping part of the website where you go in and you're able to select Goku and it has all the products for men, and you down select the ones that you don't want, and then you're able to just go through, select the sizes, and then go through to checkout, and you can shop the outfits rather than just doing the individual products and trying to find them. That's why our search bar at the moment is golden, eh? If you can't find anything, just put it in the search bar. It's like the best thing. But we have a lot of products, and it creates its own complexity for sure.
I actually didn't think about that. Like, I've never thought about counting. But when you think about it, like, it is a crazy amount of products that you guys have. And I think it really does like serve to like illustrate like how customer driven you guys are, because so many people want so many of their favorite characters. And like, even with like 2,000 something products, there's still characters coming out by probably the thousands every single day of like, we want this, we want this, and you just can't do it all, but you guys are constant releasing new stuff. So I think that that'll
even
bring
the variants. The variants of them. So like a really good example was I love to reuse artifacts. It's a consultant thing. Like, you reuse a document, so you cut down half the time, So a real good example would be our Goku kanji, right? Goku Go kanji. So just the normal skin. I remember having a meeting with the team. Look, we need to make a battle damage one. Let's not remake the whole wheel. Let's take this and let's change it to battle damage. And then the next one was, let's turn this into an aura. You know what I mean? And how can we then make additional value from the same design? Let's turn it into onyx. Because there are so many different variations. And you just reminded me. We had a project back in like 2017 where I looked at creating a new app, so a Java-based app. It would have to be HTML5 now or something, right? But we created this app where people could select their colors for the characters. Yeah, so that's something that's still like I'd like to do, but the capability to execute it cleanly on a website that receives like hundreds of thousands of views a day is just, there's high risk there.
Definitely.
But the variants, like, people throw out all the time. I remember when I first did Goku, we had skin. I don't know if you're around that long ago. But back in like 2013, 14, and up into 15, I think that's when I stopped it. We had Goku with his chest popping out. And obviously as Caucasian, we used to have people emailing us asking for different colored skins. And I remember Marcus Brimage, a UFC fighter, he messaged, and we actually created brown and yellow and white. So we had 3 different colors to match the athletic person's skin color so that they felt that it worked, because they still wanted to look like Goku. And that was amazing. But we had heaps of people asking us every single day for color changes, and they'd send us pictures of themselves. Can you take this picture and apply this to the design so that I can have a bespoke one? And that's where we moved out of bespoke stuff and moved into redesigning so that everybody could wear it, you know, without needing to ask anything. We don't want these barriers, you know, to purchase, or to even barriers to wearing something and being inspired. We didn't want that, so we redesigned the entire gi. And it's like, you take our designs and our IP in terms of how we apply it to the human form, which is our real magic. It's how we take a character which has a torso like this and legs like this and apply it to the human form and make it look like it's meant for you. Because you can't take any anime character and copy and paste that across into a t-shirt and expect it to look okay. The proportions are all wrong. So we've got a lot of IP there with regards how we actually translate characters through to our products.
That's really cool to hear about the behind the scenes of the company. I think it's like really interesting because from the outside looking in, you might not be thinking about all of these things, but I think for the people listening that maybe have some more concerns or stuff like that, when they actually listen to you like talk about like everything that goes into the behind the scenes, they're like, wow, there is so much going on. There's so many moving pieces. Like, it makes sense why things are the way that they are. And even despite all that, you are trying to improve things in the way that you can and make it the best you can for people. And I think that nobody should have anything but admiration and respect for that, because that's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that, Mark. Next question here is, what's your personal favorite piece of JustSaiyan gear that you own?
It would have to be my 2 OG tops that I created that are back in New Zealand and frames. My purple Vegeta top and my Goku gi. The purple Vegeta is so funny. I met one of the staff members that we've still got working with us today. He's the manager of social media. And Robert, he emailed me. He had like 2 big Instagram pages, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers. And he's like, hey, something's wrong with my top. It's purple. And I'm like, oh man. Printing blue, I'm gonna tell you this. Here's something that if everybody wants to know how complex our company is, we have to manage the humidity in our printing rooms, or else we can't print Vegeta blue, the Vegeta blue. Vegeta blue, and printing it week to week, because we do this week to week, right? Like, we don't have, like I said, we don't make 20,000 Vegeta cell armor tops, right? We do them in our batches, and they all have to look the same no matter what, but the conditions are always changing. And I tell you what, man, the purple Vegeta, that has cost me so much money over my life. It is like a lesson I never forget. Like, I'm always anal about the color science and our color technicians, and oh my god. Oh my god. The purple Vegeta, bro.
Next time you have a batch of purple Vegetas, let me know, because now I kind of want one, because that sounds
you
fun.
Want limited edition purple Vegetas. I probably do today. It'll probably be as popular as the Alia gear. So my 2 that I love wearing right now, I'd say maybe 3. I really love wearing Lemillion gear, because anything with the muscles that have the All Might muscles. So the All Might muscles I really like, especially when I get a really nice tight fitted top and I'm feeling good with life and I'm going out and I'm hitting any type of workout. It could be a cycle ride for all I care, like a bike ride or something. I feel amazing in it and I look amazing. The proportions with the pecs to the abs are just like, they look amazing. And then I would go through to the new Jiren and even the Super Saiyan 5, like Goku. The new Jiren, the muscles that we did are really good. You know, they're not as good as the new Super Saiyan 4 gear that we dropped this year. That's the new style that we're coming out with. We're re-releasing a lot of designs with this new like 3.0 look. And that's because we've just been able to upgrade our skills, you know, and we're able to know how far we can push our printing technology. But I would say that the two original ones, and then Jiren and Super Saiyan 5 Goku for sure, I wear it a lot. You know, for me, like my own personal gear. You know, I used to have a lot more gear, bro, but I donated it. I gave it to kids at the skate park. Like I was traveling around, even when I was doing a business tour here in Australia, I was traveling around. I was giving out gear left, right, and center just to help inspire people. It wasn't really like a big marketing like event, but I made every place I went to an event for marketing. That makes sense.
I mean, that's what you got to do, and I'm sure anybody who received that and got turned on to the brand will be a lifetime shopper because of the inspiration they pull from the gear. And it's funny that you say there two things kind of stuck out to me there. One, with the All Might shirt, with the like way you said the muscles are designed. It's funny because my girlfriend says the same thing when I wear my All Might skin. And two, you were talking about how you really like wearing your Lemillion tanks, and that's a really fun note. A little bit of a spoiler for the audience, but he may or may not be the next special guest coming on our season 2.5. But
there you go. You don't know. You got to stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. But there might be something fun to do with that. But so diving into some like anime stuff here, was Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z your first anime, or what was your first anime growing up?
Nah, bro, it wasn't like in New Zealand. It was Sufferville for sure with cartoons. We only had like an hour. We only had an hour, and Pokemon took up 30 minutes of that. And of that 30 minutes, 15 of it was ads. It's so true though, eh?
Well, and then before the ads, you'd get, who's that Pokemon? And then it would come back from the ad and be like, hey, it's Pikachu. It's like, why are you taking up more of my time? I just watched 15 minutes of ads.
I need to know what's going on. Is it Zapdos or is it Moltres? I need to know. So Pokemon was like a big screener in New Zealand, and Digimon as well. Dude, I love Digimon. I'm an Angemon man 101 all life, forever. Like I love Digimon, and I think that's where like the battling part came from, because Digimon's a lot more fighting oriented rather than having Mons fight for you. You know, like you don't see Ash powering up and turning Super Saiyan and blasting someone. You know, you see Pikachu doing it. As with the Digimon, obviously you got Tai and stuff, but the Digimon, they form into more humanoid looking characters. So I resonated with that a lot. So it was Digimon, then Pokemon, and then Digimon got replaced with Dragon Ball Z. And this is when we got the Ocean dub. So the voice characters changed all the time, like all the time. Like I remember when Goku's voice changed, I didn't know what to do. Like I'm like, what am I watching? And then like, you know, after a few episodes, they drill it into you so you accept it as the norm. It was a completely new voice character. But yeah, so you know, going through the Saiyan saga, I had to live the Saiyan saga and 3 times in a row. And then I had to live the Frieza saga, I think 3 times. So it was over a year of like the same stuff all the time. The voice changing and everything. I knew like what episode it would change because there was no new episodes that were coming out afterwards, or no one had like done the dub on them soon enough to play like the next season. So I really resonated with Dragon Ball Z, so much so that like my sister, she would have piano practice at 3:30. I'd be home from primary school at like 3:25, and I would be turning the TV on and I'd be waiting for it. And when Rock the Dragon came on, you know, the theme song, we had Rock the Dragon. You know, it's like I don't want to sing it, dude, but you know, it's the most hype Dragon Ball Z or like intro ever for sure for me. Like when I hear that, I'm just like, I'm ready to train, bro. throw any weight at me, I'm gonna lift it. It's like my adrenaline buzz. You need me to pick up a car right now, I'll pick up two. You know, like I'm about that. And she would start playing her piano, and we'd just get into this mega argument before like the song, and then like I'd go over there, I'd slam the keyboard down. I'm like, I want to watch Dragon Ball Z. Like, I was so amped for it. I'm like, dude, it's like half an hour. Let me watch it, and then you can play all the piano you want to. And we had so many arguments that she ended up just watching it with me and getting addicted as well. So good outcome, right? She quit piano and started watching anime.
Amazing.
And this is my older sister as well, so it's not even like I was like the one that used to get smashed around. So
every parent's dream for their daughter to quit playing piano and start watching anime.
Yeah, man. She wasn't good at it anyway, whatever. Like she was a better singer.
That's good. That's good. It sounds like me with guitar. It was like, I want to be good at this, but like,
yeah. So and Dragon Ball Z, like, it took years to even get through to even like the Buu saga, bro. Like, it took years to get through there. Like, I remember I was like 9 or 10 when Future Trunks came on the scene. So I had to live years of like the same episodes, bro, until like I actually got to see another Super Saiyan. And I remember seeing Future Trunks, and I was like starstruck, bro. Like, even right now thinking about it, when he turned up and he killed Mecha Frieza and then like slam dunked King Cold, I was like, dude, this guy is like the boss dog. I need a vest ASAP, and I need some baggy pants. And I was like, Mum, where's my baggy pants? I need a vest. And she's like, what are you on about? I want to dye my hair blonde. She didn't even understand. I'm like telling her. She's like, you listening to Eminem again? I'm like, no, I'm not.
Amazing. So is your current favorite anime still Digimon, Pokemon, or Dragon Ball Z, or has a newer anime overtaken the spot as your number one anime in recent years?
I think animes are really growing up, and I think they're forced to grow up, and I think this is why, like, Dragon Ball had to pull back on some of its Dragon Ball Super had to pull back on some of its like aggressiveness. When you look at the sub versus the dub, they can be greatly different with regards to like how much power they're getting across to the audience. Like, I love Chris Sabat. Like, I love his voice. I love like, I know there's lots of people that are sub for life or manga only for life. If it ain't canon, it ain't real. But I like entertainment, and I like seeing character development, and this is why I think, people like Piccolo and Super got hard done by. I think there's so many people that could have been invested in more, rather than like the usual like twosome. But yeah, so right now, My Hero Academia for me was like a year ago. I watched it religiously. I even did like little videos on Daily Motion, because it's the only place that you could put it up without it being copyrighted. Doing like video on video. I used to watch that all the time. Like, it wasn't just product research for me or character research. It was the emotional side and what kids are subconsciously getting across from the anime, and I think that like Deku, he's an amazing character. Like, I think that the storyline behind My Hero Academia and how they blend some of my favorite animes into like one kind of anime, with regards to the quirks and then also their own character development, I find it resonated with me a lot. And I had to move on from My Hero Academia into new things like Demon Slayer and even Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, there are, yeah. I find that going to watch the dub of Dragon Ball Super now is hard for me to rewatch all the time in my spare time, because I already remember the sub. Like, I already remember that, and I lived it. Like, dude, when my Master Ultra Instinct came out, we had the gear released on the episode. You know what I'm saying? Like when the new movie came out with Berserker Broly, we had the gear released a month and a half before the movie came out. Like we are fans, and like we know what resonates and how we want to help hype these characters to where they should be, you know. So yeah, they're the ones that I'm looking at right now. There's there's a few that I would like to have more time to watch. I just don't have it, you know. Like this morning, bro, my morning this morning was like I had it planned out, and 3 hours later, I still hadn't done the first task. It's because I was managing dynamic situations, I'd call them. Everything's dynamic. Like we are all humans, and when we interact with humans online and with regards to issues that are going on stuff, you got to be fluid and you got to apply time and you got to be there and be present and be wanting to resolve something. And so that's where my morning went. I would like to have been watching anime, but I'm investing in people at the same time.
Yeah.
What about you, bro? What about you? What's your favorite anime right now, dude?
My favorite anime is My Hero Academia, hence the name, the Plus Ultra Fitness Podcast. And my favorite character is Deku. I absolutely love Deku because there's no character I resonate with more. And it was funny that you said, like, you know, 2 weeks before the Broly movie, you had the Broly gear out. Same with the stealth gear. Month and a half. Same with the stealth gear with the new My Hero Academia movie coming out. The stealth gear has already been released, and myself included.
And we nailed it. We nailed it, bro. We smashed it out of the park. That gear is so amazing looking. It's like, bro, I cannot believe the amount of detail that we even put into the back part of the top. If you haven't seen it, go onto our website, get the render and just zoom in on it. And now imagine that like 8K, you know, like 8K resolution. That's what our design files are like. They are so amazing because we don't do anything in pixel base. We don't use, nothing's pixel based for us. It's all vector based. So you got a different design style and there's no pixel holes, you know, like there's no dots. Everything's a solid color for how we print. That's why we get so much vibrancy in our designs. And it's how we can get so much detail, like actual detail into all of our designs. But the stealth suits, bro, I remember, I think we started work on them 2.5 months ago, I think. Yeah, so to see them drop is like a real happy moment for everyone involved. And we've got another release coming out this weekend. I don't know when you'll put this podcast out, but we have a drop, and I love this gear so much. Like I would wear this all day, every day. Like there's some clothing products in there that I love to wear, like the new high and low cut encounter shorts. Bro, I love those shorts. They are amazing. So yeah, there's some things that I'll be copying myself, but don't worry, I put everyone else first. So I treat myself like a customer. I don't bully my way into like the pipeline and be like, oh, I want this one because I'm the CEO. I let everyone go, and I just like, you know, I'm just like an everyday person, just plugging in just like a customer.
It's amazing to hear you like talk and hear the passion that you have for like your own gear coming out, because I think like as customers we have that same passion, that same desire. I agree with you. Like I have my Deku stealth suit coming on the way, and I am so pumped for it. It looks so amazing, and I can't wait to get like a Bakugo and a Todoroki one as well. But I had to start with the Deku because Deku's my boy. But
yeah, he's your boy.
Yeah, but I agree with you on like the high cut and the low cut shorts as well. Like the high cut shorts, like that's like all I will wear to the gym anymore. Is like I just love the high cut shorts like so much. I can't get enough pairs. And the razor tanks, I love the way that the razor tanks fit.
That's awesome. That's awesome about the razors, bro. That's awesome. Yeah.
The razors are just like so spot on. Like I don't know why it took me so long to get one, but I love the fit. I'm wearing my Zenitsu one right now, but
yeah,
I have so many. And then the hoodies are so comfy too. So Kyle Haybear, the English voice actor for Fat Gum, he signed the inside of my Just Saying Fat Gum hoodie, and it's now my like most.
I saw the picture. Didn't you post it as well? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's now my like most prized possession because I was like, yes, like I have like a Fat Gum hoodie that looks exactly like accurate to like how his hoodie looks in the show, signed by the voice actor. So yeah, the Just Saying Gear is like so spot on. Is there a character in anime that you relate to the most, and why do you relate to them?
Yeah, so I think that I said Gohan before. Like as a kid, I just wanted to be Gohan. I felt like I was in a you know, Gohan, he's always motivated to be great, but he himself, his mind always lets him down. You know, you see this when he's when he's a kid and when he's on Namek, like he never thinks that he's good enough, right? I resonated with that when I was at school, and I found it really hard with my friends. However, looking back on it, I always see myself as like my actions in my day are definitely Goku orientated from Dragon Ball. You know, every challenge is something that should be enjoyed because it's an experience. And the challenge is there for you to receive the growth, and just being your best self and being happy and joyous with your heart through anything you're going through is one of the greatest things you can even do in life. You get a lot of pleasure no matter what's going on. If you're making, I don't know, a Subway sandwich, you can still make, like, because I've been in monotonous jobs, you know, I didn't just like go 0 to 100. I've done all kinds of jobs as a kid. Like when I was 15, my parents gave me nothing. Like I had to work for everything. Then I left home early, and I've had a huge like family development, and I've done a lot of growth in my life. And whenever there's like a task, like there was this an example would be, do you know what a Lundia is? It's like a wall of folders, you know? So you have like information in it and you can slide them, they're on rails. When I started working in town, my job was to put away files. And I would listen to Les Brown, Eric Thomas, The Secrets to Success. I would listen to all these audiobooks just with headphones on, and I did the best job I could in like in the what I thought was the worst job. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's this. But I made it the best that it could possibly be. And that took me places. Having that ability to gift effort, you know. And I do believe that there is the gifting mentality is coming up strong. Not everything needs to be an exchange where, you know, I'm only going to do something for you if you pay me, or I'm only going to do something for you if you come mow my lawns or something. You know what I mean? That's exchange mentality. Gifting is just doing and not expecting anything in return. And honestly, I've lived maybe 14 or 15 years just like that. And that's where Goku comes into it, because he will always, from Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z is a bit different, where he's, you know, he is himself his biggest challenge always, you know, and that's where I think Vegeta and him vary so much. I want to shout out to my boy Derek Padula. Derek Padula wrote a really good book called Over 9,000 When World Views Collide. And it's a really good book that goes into like the Taoism and stuff behind Dragon Ball Z, and the color representations of the antagonists and protagonists, which are like Goku and Vegeta, right? And how they are both right within their own minds, but they just process things differently based off their environment and where they come from. Even though they're the same race, so to speak, they've been brought up in different environments. They've got different ways that they interpret what they're seeing around them. But yeah, so coming back, bro, sorry. Goku for sure, and it's just because of being happy and joyous. Like, find me another character that is so happy to get themselves worked over, you know, and then to see the growth in it. And like, you know, when they're in the hyperbolic time chamber, him, Goku and Gohan, and Gohan's like trying to become Super Saiyan, you know, like again, like trying to master this new form, and he sees his dad. He goes into the ascended Saiyan. He knows how much power's in there, and he looks jacked up. He's like looking like Broly, you know. I love, by the way, I love that form on Future Trunks when he actually up against, what is it, semi-perfect or perfect cell, and he goes into it. He tries to stop. Yeah, I love that. Like that gives me chills. The best artwork ever in Dragon Ball is the Cell Saga and Boo Saga, the best artwork ever. Like, if you see future Trunks like that, and that doesn't motivate you to go and do like a bench press or something, or like to hit some push-ups, I don't know what will, bro. Honestly, like, it is some of the most aggressive artwork, like very aggressive. But yeah, so like when they're in the hyperbolic time chamber and they walk out and they are Super Saiyans as a natural form, not using any energy, and they're calm, that's like me, like 95% of the time. Is that, you know, I still break, bro. Like, I'm still like a normal person. Like, I still break, but it has to go through a few barriers before it really gets to me, you know? Yeah.
That's
What about you?
Ooh, so character I relate to the most and why is Deku. I really related to like Deku's story of like obviously like getting bullied as a kid and getting picked on, but despite like getting bullied and getting picked on, just having this like undying mission to want to help people and want to be a hero that makes other people's lives better. That's all I've ever wanted to do. I've just wanted to help people and help improve people's lives. That's why I eventually got into personal training, and I just that's why I started this podcast. I just look for ways to improve people's lives. I want to be a hero. And he wanted to be a hero so bad, but he struggled and he slipped and he fell and he would like rush into like action to go save his friend Bakugo, but he had no power. He was considered weak and everybody picked on him because of that. And at the end of the second episode, when All Might turns to him and like tells him he can be a hero, like I just started to bawl. Like I got so emotional and so teared up because like I related so much to like my childhood of like wanting to make this thing happen and just feeling like I had to push on, and just the feeling of having those people in your life that support you and tell you like you can do it, and then you go out and do it. And like I went from like always being like bullied and picked on and told that I couldn't do it to eventually making my way into like a college football team in the US. And some other stuff happened. I explained it in other episodes, but ended up having to drop out of school. But I've just continued to push myself and try to be a hero and try to make other people's lives better. And I think throughout the anime, we get to see him, despite whatever else is going on, just continue to push himself and be better and become a better version of himself so he can help more people. And that's something I definitely strive to do. That's something I relate to and something I really love about the character of Deku. So.
I resonate with that, bro. And do you know what you did? Just like Deku. Deku only received like, because he always had that innate heart, right? He had the heart, right? But he received his power when he became a hero for himself, not looking to another hero. So it was gifted to him when he became the hero. And just like you, bro, you stepped up, you became your own hero. And that's why it resonates so much, because it is true. When you become your own hero, man, honestly, the world is your oyster. Nothing can stop you when you are your own hero.
Absolutely. I agree 1000%. And that's what this podcast is about, is helping everybody become their own hero, helping everybody go plus ultra in their own lives. Now we've kind of alluded to this a little bit, like you've given the audience tons of different lessons from anime to be applied to fitness, but what do you think the number one lesson that we can take from anime and apply to our own fitness is?
Look, it was a good segue from what we just talked about to come into this. I just want everyone to know that nobody is average. Like, that doesn't exist. You know, you are all amazing people, and you are so much, like, you're so powerful that you can't comprehend it. That's the only thing. And with a dream, even the most unassuming of us can step into greatness. Nobody is average, and with a dream, every one of us can step into greatness, no matter how unassuming we are. And that's when you're just talking about Deku. When I was watching this with Randy, right? So Space Cowboy 1990, I was like, bro, this is the new. Like, this is saying so many, you're watching so many inspirational changes that are directly related to all of our lives, that when you're ready with the right eyes, you see them in the anime. Like, you do. It's not just fighting anymore, you know? It's not just like acquiring, you know, new skills to master your quirk. You know, it becomes more than that. And the writers, I think, do an amazing job in being able to demonstrate this kind of plot in so many different animes for us to pick up on, just with different time frames in our life, or when the time's right. Like for me, I stopped working for 3 months and went back and watched Dragon Ball, and the same type of thing hit me, you know.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that's why My Hero is my favorite anime, is because I believe that the writers do it. A lot of anime does it better than any other media out like reality TV, whatever shows, cartoons. I feel like anime is the best media form of portraying life lessons that we can take and apply to our own lives. And I think that My Hero kind of stands at the top of that, in my opinion. You know, other people might argue other animes, but in my opinion, My Hero stands at the top of that. And that's why I love it so much, is even in characters like Bakugo, you know, you start off really hating Bakugo because he's the bully, and then they turn around and they make you feel for his situation, and they make you fall in love with the character by showing the character's growth. And I feel like they do it with every character, like Lemillion, Deku, Bakugo, Uraraka, Ida, Sue, every single character they put in there, they make you really attach yourself to the characters and their growth, and you find yourself learning and growing along with the characters and becoming a better version of themselves. And when you think about the school mantra, plus ultra, go plus ultra, and what that means of like becoming a better version of yourself, I just fell in love with that idea, and I took it. I'm like, Plus Ultra Fitness Podcast, a podcast that's about making you become the best version of yourself, helping you go plus ultra. So that's what I've really like attached myself to with My Hero Academia.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it totally does go across different animes. Like I brought up before, the world view of each character is vastly different because they all have different backstories, right? And Bakugo, like you just say, Bakugo's a lot like Vegeta. You know, when Vegeta came to Earth with Nappa, and Nappa blew up the whole city, and then Vegeta killed Nappa, and he was out there to take down Kakarot, right? He was doing everything right because of where he's come from, right? And his Saiyan race and the pride, blah, 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 right? He was doing everything right in his mind. But for Goku, Krillin, Tien, Chiaotzu, Piccolo, even Bad Boy Piccolo, it's wrong, right? But Vegeta sees what Goku's doing is wrong, and Goku sees what Vegeta's doing is wrong. And this is why I use this in consulting a lot. Believe it or not, bro, I'd be there with boards of directors trying to get everybody to agree to something. So cohesion. And I use that worldview, that lesson between two anime characters in multiple board meetings to get people to agree consistently across the board to action, because we all see things different. There's always someone on a board that has their kids going to private school, costs. They want a new car. Their wife wants a bigger deck. They've got a huge mortgage over their head. They won't say yes and do the work because they don't see the rest of the vision over here. You know, that's their world. So my job was to really get cohesion and bring everyone on the journey. And anime, everyone needs to come on a journey. There's a team. There's no just I. Even with All Might, bro, he wasn't the only one. It was gifted to him too because he had a heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah.
Then he gifted it to
always
Deku.
makes dream work.
He gifted it to others, yeah.
Teamwork always makes a dream work. Always. And it makes it way more enjoyable as well. When you have a team and you're not isolated by yourself, like I get the waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go for a run because no one else is up at 4:30 going for a run, you know? But it's way more funner to do it with someone else as well, you know? It really is, dude. When you get a good team, like, you know, you got Goku. Goku's by himself a lot. Like, obviously he trains with Vegeta because it's an egotistical reward for him. He needs someone strong that he can fight, you know? But when you look at My Hero Academia, it is a team effort. They have the team, they have the games, they have all that type of stuff where they work as a team. You know, season 1 and season 2 is super powerful. And I think if no one really rates it, you know, they need to rewatch it maybe with some information that we've shared here from this podcast with new eyes. so they can understand just how powerful it is, because a lot goes on in the first 2 seasons. And it's a really good foundation. Top anime. Really like that it's come along, eh?
Yes, it's come along so amazingly. And I really like that about the teamwork, because like as a power lifter, powerlifting is a single person sport. It's not something that you typically do with a team, but I've found in my experience that actually doing it with other people surrounding you, having a training partner or having a team around you, motivates you and pushes you to go to limits you didn't even think were possible, and make you way stronger than trying to do it alone. Even though powerlifting is seen as this like very individual sport where you just go in and you don't want anybody around you. And some people do draw motivation from being alone, but I always thought that was me until I started training with a team. And it's funny how that can work, but we can absolutely, sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, and individual sports, there's always execution where the onus is always on you, right? At the end of the day, whether you've done your training or whether you're mentally prepared or not, that when it comes to performance, it's always on you. But how you get there is, I find having a team of people is so much more enjoyable to get to the point of execution where you excel, you know? It's way more enjoyable in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. 1000%. I'm sure we could go on like this for all day, Mark, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been an absolute blast. So much great information in here. Do you want to tell the people where they can find you before we head out here?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me on this podcast. I said yes straight away. I remember even you messaged me, I read your message, and then some of the team messaged me, oh, hey, you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, I already said yes. I'll make time for it. So thank you for having me on. I hope that it's been enjoyable for you. Maybe you've learned some stuff out of Just Saying, and it's also maybe piqued your interest in maybe a second podcast. I don't know. Where we could be a bit more specific with things. That'd be pretty cool. So I really hope that I've been a valuable interviewee here, which is my intention. And if anyone wants to follow me, like obviously I don't really do as many live streams or anything on JustSaiyan Gear anymore, but I should probably get back into doing it. I used to do them once a week regularly and answering questions. So if I haven't done one, come and tell me off at Mark__Norman. Tell me that I need to do a live stream on JustSaiyan Gear. Get my ass over there. Because communication is everything. As long as you've got clear lines of communication, anything is possible. So yeah, if you want to chat to me and ask me about, like, normally every time I do like a CEO chat on Just Saying, I leak so many different products that are coming out. I leak so many different designs. Like I'm real transparent with it. I don't tell you specifically, but I like to create hype. But I also get a lot of feedback, and like, a real good live stream that we did was one where we came up with the BOGO, so buy one, get one off. I did a live stream, and then 24 hours later, I had the BOGO sale happening because people wanted it. There was like 50 or 60 people in that chat at the time, coming and going. And they all kind of resonated with it. And then I got into a bigger live stream, and I was like, okay, well, there's legs here. Let's make it happen. They're asking, right? We're customer driven. You can't say you're customer driven and then not be customer driven. Number one rule that you don't break.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Mark. And we'll chat a little bit after about maybe a more Just Saying specific podcast. But for the audience, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope this guys has opened your eyes at some of the inner workings of Just Saying, and hopefully given you a different view of admiration for and respect for the company that maybe you didn't have before. Maybe you just saw it as like the clothing that you wear and it's kind of cool, but maybe you didn't see all the behind the scenes into what has made this company what it is. To me, that stuff really adds a human element to the company and a human element that just makes the gear even that much more inspiring. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with myself and everybody who listens. It's been an absolute pleasure. Guys, join the Discord. I'll leave the link below. The UA Academy, we're in there. We're inspiring you. We hold that same mission. Share pictures of you in your Just Saiyan gear. Share your progress pictures. We're in there following the same mission that Mark has been talking about during this whole podcast, using anime and fitness together to inspire you to be a best version of yourself by surrounding yourself with a community and a team of people that pick you up. And fun fact, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to leak this yet, but this episode comes out in 3 days. We just became the official Just Saiyan Discord. I don't know what strings Evan pulled, but Evan made it happen. So I guess we are the official Just Saiyan Discord now. So guys, join the Discord. We'll have to get Mark in there too, and then you guys can harass him about getting on live on there as well. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. You guys can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Maxwell Fitness. You guys can follow the podcast at the Plus Ultra Fitness Podcast on Instagram. I love you guys.